Great to see everyone here. You guys look great in your uniforms. Coaches, you look all right too. And we're very grateful to the AEA for hosting us today. As always, thank you to Mrs. Pat Shipe and her crew, her staff. We deeply appreciate it. And we will eat soon, but welcome everyone. I did want to give a shout out to Bookdale and Ellett in particular for helping the Cleveland Browns host those youth football camps this summer. They were both tremendous with a great turnout of a lot of kids throughout the Akron area. How many of you high school players coached at those camps, volunteered? Did anyone? Because I saw you got a little taste of coaching. Hopefully those young ones listen to you. They have a lot of energy, but we appreciate the head coaches, Coach Williams, Coach Doral for helping organize that, and everyone for spreading the word too, all 6 schools, to your middle schools and youth programs. So thank you very much. So you know the format. We'll do what we've done in the past. Some brief introductions and welcomes here, and then we will eat our lunch, and we look forward to that. And we'll hear from each head coach who will be up here speaking. I know Coach Boyd from Garfield has to go first because he needs to get to another meeting coming up. But then coaches, just so you know, after that we'll go by seniority. So Coach Hayes, be prepared to be the second man up. So that's how we'll do that. Without any further words from me, though, I want to introduce Pat Shipe here, president of AEA, who will also introduce our new superintendent. We want to welcome Dr. Robinson's here today. Drove a long way from Louisiana earlier this week, so we need to nourish him with some good food. Let's clap it up for Dr. Robinson. Pat?
Good afternoon, everybody. Happy to see all of you here. I want to welcome you to the Akron Education Association. My name's Pat Shipe, and I'm the president of the association, and we are the Akron Public School Teachers Labor Union. I also want to take a moment just to recognize Michael Ann and Christina. Come around the corner there, Christina. They do a lot to get this whole thing put together, so we appreciate that every year. I want to welcome all the student athletes here today, the coaches, Mr. Vasilati and Mr. Linger from the athletic department, all those from the media here, and particularly welcome Dr. Robinson, the APS school superintendent. It's always a pleasure to host the various APS athletic media days. We've always recognized the important part that athletics play in the lives of all of our students, success and future, and how that role of sports is important to the community at large here in Akron. In saying that, however, I want to point out that all of you young men here today are not just student athletes, but you're also student leaders on your teams and in your buildings, in the community, and how you walk through your lives on a daily basis, the choices you make and the examples you set are noticed more than by your coaches, but they're also, and the people in the stands at your game, but they're also noticed, your leadership, by fellow students, your teachers, parents, and the community at large. I've had the opportunity and the pleasure to speak with Dr. Robinson in the last number of weeks remotely, but he is in Akron now, and I believe that he will agree that your voices matter, and I'm talking to you student athletes. Your voices matter in Akron Public Schools and within the Akron community. In the coming months and beyond, as you move forward in your education with Akron Public Schools and the paths that you choose to follow when you leave Akron Public Schools, be aware that you are young leaders in this community and play a large role in the success of not only your future, but of those around you. You will make the connections of how all of our lives link together and impact each other. I want to truly thank all of you for the leadership and your voice, and I want to thank the coaches for their dedication and the work that they do with you every day. It is truly noticed and appreciated. I appreciate the opportunity to have you all come here today and celebrate Akron Public School sports, and in particular today, the sport of football. Again, I want to welcome Dr. Robinson, and I know that everybody is hungry, so I think we will begin, if it's all right, to get everybody fed. We have plenty of food, and if you're hungry, there's always plenty of food to take seconds. And thank you for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you. How would you like to call them up?
Well, let's go by proximity.
All right, we'll do that.
See, Ella was smart enough to sit close to the food, so we'll start with them.
Okay.
All right, everyone, we'll get right to the food. Thank you, Pat,
Drinks
for those
over
kind
there,
words. Thank you, Dr. Robinson, for being here. We appreciate it. Dr. Robinson, being from Louisiana, of course, is in SEC country down there, or I guess was. But welcome to Big Ten country. The two best conferences in the nation, right? So that's exciting. So he's used to a football fever. And we do claim ownership to a certain extent of Joe Burrow, I want you to know, even though he spent 2 years at LSU and helped win a national title, but he's still an Ohio guy at heart. But welcome. Thank you for being here. So let's eat.
My name's Ron Linger. I'm with the Akron Public Schools Athletic Department, right with Mr. Vasilati and our Secretary Sherry. All do great jobs in our department to put things together for all of our sports teams, both middle school and high school. It's a pleasure to work with them. They are fantastic. Great to see all of you guys again. It's been a long, hot summer already and going to get hotter. So be prepared, hydrate well, be ready to play. Just a couple of words. I don't normally give you any advice for anything prior to the start of your season, but for you guys that are here, let me say this to you as I've reflected back on my sports career, as we all do when we get older. Enjoy the time that you have with the guy next to you and your teammates. Remember them, thank them, enjoy them, help them, nurture them, all those good things. Your coaches who do so much that you don't even know about, they're special people. They will be with you for your lifetime. And it's a great thing that we have with our coaches here today, that they are with you for a lifetime. They are family to you, each and every one of you. Take the time to enjoy them. That's really it for me, for my philosophy for this season. So I want you to be able to take that with you today when you leave. Enjoy your time here. Also, I want to thank our media people who are here today. Of course, we always have Peter here with APS IS. That's our TV station. Always glad to have him here to film this and be played later on tape delay. Michael Bevan with the Beacon Journal is here. Does a great job covering our games. Nate Ulrich, also with the Beacon Journal, great job covering our games. And the good part about those two guys, they're also City Series graduates, both from Firestone. So it's great to have them. And Mr. Cardew is the photographer. He's been with the Beacon Journal for a long time. We appreciate him being here along with all of their colleagues that we see throughout the season. And welcome to Dr. Robinson. Our pleasure to have you join us today as well. So without further ado, let's turn things over to Mr. Vasilati and we'll get the program rolling.
Thank you very much, Mr. Linger. Personal thanks from me to Ron and Sherry for all the great work they do in the athletic office. It can be chaotic at times, but they settle it down and help me tremendously. So I thank you. Sherry put the program together for us today, for example. So deeply appreciate their help. Welcome, media. I do want to mention a couple things I meant to earlier. Peter from APSIS. Well, you wouldn't change your name so often. It'd be easy. I almost said APS 15. But anyway, Peter reminded me that he was there and did some camera work, videotape of the youth camp at Ellett. So that'll be on the APS website soon if it's not already. And I did want to mention, too, some of you might be aware, we started an APS Athletics Hall of Fame last year for the district. So, you know, we started sports way back in the 30s. So we're trying to catch up and honor all those folks who have done great things for us as student athletes and coaches. So it made me think when Mr. Linger was talking about connections with your high school coach that last forever. For example, I was just communicating with my high school coach couple weeks ago. I needed his advice about something and some information, and we went back and forth, and it was great to touch base with him. Those relationships are eternal, and so think about that, and work hard for your coaches, and they appreciate you, I know, and all that you do as players too. But it made me think, in the Hall of Fame, we induct a couple coaches every year, and inevitably the words of praise that come for example, Coach Sigfirth, a basketball coach at Central Howard, was inducted. May he rest in peace, and all the impact he had on players through the year. But this year, for example, coming up, we'll induct the late Coach Flossie, who was a head football coach at Central Howard and Buchtel and Firestone, and won state titles, but impacted so many lives in so many ways. And obviously, Jake is here because of Coach Flossie, so he knows well. But that connection is long-lasting, and it's special. And as a former football coach, I love hearing from players. I just heard from one the other day who finished his college degree now as a 35-year-old after not finishing it as a 21-year-old. He decided to go back. He had a college scholarship, left school, was in the work field, did a career for a while, but went back, finished his degree, and he wanted to let me know that, and I was so proud of him. So remember that, guys. Thanks, Mr. Linger, for bringing that up. But enough from me. We'll get to the coaches now. And like I said, Coach Boyd from Garfield is going to be our leadoff hitter. He has to get to another meeting. You probably see Coach Boyd's face in the paper or on the news, or read about him, hear about him. He's a man about town in Akron, wears a lot of hats and does a lot of great things for our city, especially the young people in our city. He is entering his 10th season as a head football coach, continuously at Kenmore, Garfield, and now Garfield. So, Coach Boyd, come on up with your two players. Guys, come on up.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, Joe, and welcome, Dr. Robinson, for being here and being in our great city of Akron. I want to start off just by saying this, and let me just express some gratitude, first of all, to players and also to coaches. Because like the players, coaches, you have accepted the responsibility of staying here and staying in this city and coaching in this league. And for some of you, you accepted the role of entering into this league and into this city to coach, which is no easy task or feat. Everybody in the room knows what we are up against as coaches, and especially young men. You know what you're up against as young men each and every day, and what you have to experience and what you have to embrace situationally and circumstantially. And so what I want to say is just thank you. We can get into the competition and who won and who lost all day long, but here's what I know, and I could probably almost guarantee. Every coach in this room probably shares about 3 of the same goals. And probably those 3 goals have nothing to do with winning a game on the field. It's going to be about, man, how do we create platforms to give our young men for them to be the best version of themselves through this game of football? How do we get our young men to really thrive in the classroom and to be better student athletes and not just athletes? Then I'm sure, man, it's like, hey, man, how do we help them to get to where it is they want to go, whether it be college, trade school, or to the next stage of their life? And I know if I surveyed all the coaches in this room, that were probably somewhere in their top 2 in some type of variation. But what I know, winning would probably be last on the field, because why? What we already know, coaches, is what? We've already won. We've already won because why? Our kids, our young men show up each and every day. And the obstacles that they had to take to get there makes all of us winners, makes us all have success and victories. And so I didn't want to get up here today and, I'm going to tell you about the 2 young men behind me and the type of summer and off season that we had. But I also wanted to say, man, thank you all. Thank you for making me a better coach. Thank you for making me a better leader, a better mentor, man, a better husband, a better father in my own home, but also to my players. I thank Coach Hayes, first of all, for allowing me to go first. Coach Hayes has been here a long time, and he's been doing it the right way for a long time. And I really appreciate that. And all the time, Coach Hayes, I'm sure you didn't feel always effective, but what I want to tell you is, brother, you was faithful. So thank you for your faithfulness and the example that you set for all of us who have come into the city behind you. So I really appreciate that. I also want to thank, man, the coaches that are coming in, first season starting, whether it's John over at Ellett or DeMonte over at North. Thank you so much for accepting the responsibility to come into our city. It really means a lot, and I know it's no easy task. especially what you're up against over at North. But know this, man, we're praying for you and we're supporting you. And as I think a coaching fraternity here in the city, we all are supporting each and every one of us, especially weeks 1 through 5. Man, I want all of us to be undefeated weeks 1 through 5. To bring the respectability and the credibility back to our league, man, is vitally important. Because I'm sure for all of us, we all hear it or we've all experienced it. Coach Williams, man, thank you. I've been thinking for a bit of a relationship with you, and congratulations on the successful season last year. I know it wasn't easy kind of stepping in for Ricky, man, but you did it, and you did it seamlessly, and we really appreciate that. I want to thank Coach Mitchell. Coach Mitchell, we always have good words and conversation with one another, man. You've been an encouragement to me. Even though I know you got on the green and yellow, I know your heart bleeds maroon and gold, and I appreciate it. You let me know it every time I see you. But for the 2 men that stand behind me, man, I'm just so appreciative because, like you all that are sitting around this table, man, they epitomize the leadership that we want in our program. Antron Wilson, who's going to be a senior for us, he plays DB and plays receiver and also plays some quarterback. Probably not as much as he would like to. And Kevin Strickland is going to be our starting quarterback this year. He's a junior. Quiet, good young man, does what he needs to do in the classroom, carries a 3.2 GPA, and we're really happy and excited about this. Here's a beautiful thing about Antoine. Antoine is a multi-sport athlete, and he makes time for all of that. And so what they epitomize is, yeah, man, maybe it's good coaching, maybe it isn't. But what I've learned and what I love about what they've been able to bring is how hard they've worked this offseason. Not to go out and say, hey, man, we're going to go and do all this stuff, man, but they're challenging themselves to be better. And I think that's what it's all about. So we talk a lot about what does it mean to be resilient? And it's our capacity to withstand and to recover quickly from difficulties. There's no greater experience in practicing that than this game of football that we coach. And so I'm really proud of these 2 young men that stand behind me. I'm proud of the effort that they have put in thus far and what they're going to continue to do, not only on the football field, but in their homes, in their community, but also within the classroom. Now, again, thank you so much. We have many goals this year. Many goals this year. And one of those goals is that we want to finish the season the same way that we started today, and that's first. Horns up and go Rams.
I know some of the players in this room have been involved in our leadership symposiums that we've had the last couple of years, and we thank you for that. I want to thank Coach Boyd, too, for being a big part of those leadership symposiums through Love Akron, and Coach Hume for helping us get those going. And really the seeds for that were planted a few years ago at Football Media Day when the discussion turned to the unfortunate prevalence of violence that our young people had faced in the previous year or so, especially at that time. Thank you, Coach Boyd, for helping that way as well and all that you do. Next, by seniority, as Coach Boyd alluded to, we have Coach Hayes from East. And I remember when I was still coaching, we would scrimmage East, Coach Hayes' first couple years before we had a lightning storm. I think the 3rd year we got canceled. But you could see him building the program and building and getting better and better. And, you know, this will be his 12th season coming up. And I don't know how many playoff appearances. I know you had one last year, but it's been a bunch. And some city titles along the way as well. And East football has been a source of pride for our city the last decade or more. And a lot of that's due to Coach Hayes, the fine work he and his staff and players do. So, Coach, it's your turn.
Every year, this just gets better and better. I'm excited for this season to get started. It's going into year 12. And I'll tell you what, every day that we've been out there on that field, my back is hurting a little less. So I guess we're getting better with time. First thing I want to talk about before I introduce my guys, though, and this is kind of like for everybody in the room, is that I challenge you to be able to stick up for the people who have a hard time kind of sticking up for themselves. And the reason that I'm saying that is because if you read a lot of the newspapers and a lot of stuff that's going around the country, college and high school wise, there's a big thing with this hazing that's been going on. So, and sometimes it's just, again, we all like to have fun, and you still will, especially with your guys and stuff like that. But understand when it's unwanted and unnecessary. And again, sometimes when you go against that grain, you can be called unpopular. But sometimes you might have to be unpopular if you're a leader, because being a leader sometimes is an unpopular position. Because again, you're going to have players who are going to not like you at times. You're going to have players that are going to love you at some times. But all the time, they should understand, though, that you're going to be standing on your own 2 feet. What we do for them is in the best interest of them. And sometimes when we tell them things, it's not always going to be something that they're going to like to hear. So I kind of tend to always say that it's not always going to be gumballs and Tootsie Rolls, and sometimes you have to tell them, well, actually all the time, you want to tell them what the truth is and where they stand. So I've been reading all of these things that sometimes happen and stuff like that. I just challenge you all, if you see it going on in the locker room or something like that, that you stand up for it and you check it, especially because if you guys are here right now, you're here because your coaches feel that you are leaders of your team. And not only in the athletic complexes and things like that, but also in the classroom, because it can that type of stuff can go on with not only the young man, but it can go on with the young ladies as well. But us as being pillars, let's make sure we try to do something about that. Okay. But while we're here, I have on my left, I have Daryl Mitchell, nicknamed Debo. He's a senior for us, senior safety and running back. And then we have Ibrahim Kamara, who's a senior safety and wide receiver for us. 2 special guys. They've been playing a lot of football over the years. They were freshmen during the unprecedented COVID season, where Kamara was kicking for us as a punter, and Debo had to come in and play running back as a freshman. And these guys had to go to a playoff appearance as freshmen. Then they come back their sophomore seasons. They have a very competitive season, and they make it to the playoffs again. And then they come back their junior season. They have another competitive season, and then they go to the playoffs again. So they've been playing a lot of ball, but they are really some stand-up guys. Can't wait to see what their futures are going to hold. They'll be playing football on Saturdays after their senior season, and I'll be tuned in on my Hulu Live to watch them all. Because not only coaching these guys is just not about the football. They understand that. Our motto for years have been changing lives and saving lives, and we want to continue to do that. They understand that, hey, I'm a phone call away, even a Cash App call away, as noted by the young man about 30 minutes ago before we got here. Okay, but again, man, love these guys. We're looking forward to having another competitive season. They took the off season super competitive, super hard. They've been getting on our guys, trying to have them understand that, look, we can't do it alone as just seniors. We need underclassmen to step up to help us on this path. Everything we do, we're doing it for that East community, that Dragon community. We're trying to be pillars for the school and for the city and for Akron Public Schools. I've seen all the coaches during the summertime. It seems like every time there's an event going, I'm able to see Coach Williams. I'm able to see Coach Mitchell and things like that at these certain events. And like I said, man, we'll be rooting for you guys in every game that you play except us. But that's just the nature of competition. Love seeing everybody in here. Again, hope you guys have a fantastic camp the rest of the summer, leading into your scrimmages that are going to be coming. And that's it. East High School. Hey, I think we may be the first game. I don't know everybody's schedule, but we're the first game on the docket for this year. We're open up on a Thursday night versus Youngstown Cheney. So, hey, let's get after it, guys. All right.
Thank you, Coach Hayes. By seniority, next will be Coach Mitchell from Firestone, entering year number 9 for the Falcons. And I had the pleasure of coaching with Coach Mitchell 1 year in football. He had more hair back then. In fact, if I remember right, there were some dreadlocks going on. I think at one point, guys, you got to see the picture. You got to have a picture somewhere. You got to show them. Okay. Coach Mitchell and the Falcons.
Good afternoon, fellas. I'm gonna be short and sweet. I have two seniors with me, Brandon Carter, offensive line, defensive line, Khalil Herring, DB, wide receiver. Both seniors, both been in the program for 4 years. They know what our expectations are. All the coaches have touched on basically the same things that we try to implement in our programs. Community, being self-monitored and having a great deal of self-respect for the jersey that you wear, for the name that you carry, and for the school that you're in. Our biggest thing is, once again, you have to understand, my last name is Mitchell. There was a legacy before I stood here today. I have to represent that legacy. I have to represent my ancestors before me. I cannot bring a bad energy to those people who worked so hard and so diligent so I can have the position that I have today. And we try to get these young men prepared for the same thing. Your parents, your grandparents, and your ancestors before you worked so hard to give you the opportunities that you have today. Don't waste it. Don't blow it. Take full advantage of it. You guys have things at your fingertips that I never had. And for you not to take advantage of it, whether you want to go to school, armed forces, trade school, whatever, is out there for you. I don't want to be able to have to read about any of you all in a negative light. As far as City Series football goes, I've been around. He said it's year 9 at Akron City. That's pretty good because I've been doing this now for 33 years. And, I see things a lot differently than, of course, when I started, then in the middle, and now winding down towards the end. I want all of us to experience success. I want all of us to have successful seasons. I want all our young men to be successful. I want all our coaches to be examples of what success looks like to our young men as we all move forward. And even when we play each other, I want no harm, no injuries. I've been in too many games now to where the endings didn't turn out right, and I don't want that. I don't want that for our kids. I don't want that for your kids. I want us to go and compete, do the very best that you can, and then at the end of the game, hey, love each other like your brothers, because at the end of the day, that's what you are. If you come out of this and you stay on that path, you guys are gonna cross paths again somewhere, somehow, and somebody in this room might be able to help you. Like Coach said, it might be a cash app, or it could be that my man over here in 10 years from now, he's a doctor or a lawyer, who knows? But just keep those relationships open with each other. We're in the city right here. We don't gotta hate each other. We gotta play for each other, especially weeks 1 through 5. Every open game that I can get to, I'm sitting in the bleachers, rooting for you. And when we play for each other, as I said, of course we want to win, but at the end of the day, I don't want nobody to come away with no injuries, and I want everybody to experience some type of success. If you play against us, it's like, doggone it, that was a hell of a football game. Whether we win, lose, or draw, I want your respect when we walk off the field. Moving forward, hey, good luck this year. It's about to kick off real soon, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about it. Like I said, fellas, hey, do your very best and be your very best at all times. Thank you.
We appreciate your words, Coach. Coach Mitchell, of course, doubles as Mr. Mitchell at Litchfield during the school year, and is a true educator and a great role model for the young people at Litchfield and Firestone. So thank you, Coach, for all you do. Next, from Buchtel's, Coach Brian Williams. Now, Coach is entering his 3rd season at his alma mater and has done a fantastic job there of energizing that program, and, of course, last year winning the city championship and advancing to the regional regionals in the playoffs, and I know they have a lot of momentum going. Have had a great offseason and are looking for big things this year. So, Coach.
So again, I'm gonna start off and let the new coaches know, like, I was in your position just a couple years ago, you know, taking it all in, learning what the older coaches come up and say and putting together my words, because ain't none of this is scripted at all, you know, and that's the luxury of being in this league. And before I go into, you know, my next statement, I really want you guys to understand that what Coach Mitchell was talking about is real. Everything about the program, your program, our district, all right, everybody see, and how you hold it down, all right, everybody looks at that and they try to mimic that, all right. I'm in the community all the time. I talk to community leaders all the time. And again, the main thing that comes up is about our young guys, and y'all see it too. All right, y'all on the social medias, y'all see what's going on, not only in the other worlds but our world. All right, but to make our world better, we got to make our children better. All right, football is just the navigation system to get them to where they need to go. All right, but the biggest thing that we have to understand is teaching these young men life traits. All right, because that's going to take them further than they can ever imagine. So again, man, I appreciate all you guys. Going into my third year, it's been fun. I told Coach Boyd, he asked me how it's going. I said it's slowing down now, you know, because again, when I first got in here, I was coming in late, and it was kind of like trying to build that mantra, try to build that chemistry and understand our kids, because they dealing with way more than we can ever imagine, you know. So being that life coach, being that mentor, being that social worker, being that caseworker, being that dad, being that, I can keep going, and y'all know that. So we wear way more hats than just a coach hat, and I'm glad to be here. We're gonna continue to work hard, but I do challenge you guys, because the next thing is our district is known as a doormat. I'm gonna call a spade a spade. All right, our kids, our programs go to district, go to regional, go to state with limited resources. So I challenge you guys, all right, to start putting our young guys on the platform where they can be seen more. All right, the best thing that OSHA could have done is move our summer contact days up from June 1st to May 15th, because now that gave us an opportunity to get our guys to these summer camps and get recruited. You know, with that being said, we end up having 8 or 9 guys that got offered this offseason, you know. And I go into our players. We have Dakota Taylor over here. I'm a senior, going to play wide receiver and edge for us. Kent State commit, a kid that, you know, came over from another school, and at first he didn't understand what it looked like to be on another side of the town. And that's the other thing that we struggle with, our kids being on different sides of the town. And what it's really all about is building that family, building that brotherhood, to understand at the end of the day, you may be at Elliott, but we may be at the same college when the 4 years are up. So again, when he came over with that mindset, we had to kind of groom him to make him understand, like, hey, it's kind of different, you know, when you are building relationships, when you are leading. All right, now he understands that. To my left, Dame Johnson, another kid that, again, during that whole COVID time, he could have left. You know, he could have left and went off to another school, but he decided to stay, plays DB and receiver for us, and one of our top guys. You know, so again, man, it's just about how can we build, how can we lead. And again, I think the word leadership is overused, but it's a very overused word, because in order to lead, you got to have people to follow. And these 2 young men behind me, they wouldn't be here or if they didn't have guys follow them because of their leadership. With that, we have a number of seniors coming back. We have probably like 22, 23 odd seniors that's coming back to our program, with a ton of young guys as well that played a lot of varsity reps. So again, each off season is like elevation for our program because we get, the opportunity to get what these guys need. That's bigger, faster, stronger. So starting in December is way better than starting in May. So again, those guys worked hard. They're going to continue to work hard. We challenge them every day. We hold them to a high expectation like everybody else in the program. But somebody alluded to it, from 1 to 5, man, I'm a fan of y'all. I'm watching y'all, seeing what y'all doing. Then once we go into the city, it is what it is, man. Hey, competition is competition. 1 through 5, man, I'm rooting for all you guys. All right. And again, one thing that won't change, we all will have a week 1 versus a different team. And I hope you guys come out with victorious. Just that simple. I appreciate you guys. Coach Vaz, Coach Linger, even Mrs. Sherry, I thank you guys, all right, for continuing to build our programs. Now it's on us to continue to build our programs. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
When Coach Williams mentioned our former APS players possibly playing together in college from different teams, I thought of your former quarterback coach, your former receiver, now teammates at Wayne State. Hopefully a great passing combo there. So it's a great point. And it's so nice to hear a lot of coaches, praising our league and saying we're rooting for everyone. Unless we're playing each other, we're pulling for you and want you to win. So thank you, Coach Williams. And we'll segue to another head coach now who's at his alma mater. This is Coach Demonte Powell at North, entering year number 1 for the Vikings. Coach, we're very happy to have you in place there. And I know you're working hard to get guys out and get them working. And you got Elijah there. I know he plays multiple sports, but I know he and all his teammates are going to work hard for you this year. So please want to introduce Coach Powell and his players here today from North.
Man, a lot of good stuff that was said so far, and I'm just thankful. As they said, coming back home, coach what Coach has, graduated 2011, so I've been around a little bit, probably about the last decade, coaching track at North, and just being able to see, where North was when I graduated to kind of seeing where it is over these last 5 to 6 years. It's been nothing but love and respect. Shout out to Coach Mitch. Ever since I've known him since I was in high school, nothing but love. Glenn Campbell over at Bookthel, got a chance to work with him and play with him. He's been instrumental to a lot of my growth and development. Somebody that I know I can rely on. So it's really been that, for us. Shout out to you, man. I wish you nothing but success, because again, it's different in the city. Like Coach Williams said, we're the laughing stock of everything around here. So it's up to us to change that. The biggest thing for me, adjustment-wise, was changing the mindset of these kids. Just being somebody that's from over here, that's still over here, that's still in this community. It's really a we before me mentality. You can ask these kids who had the best day, who had the best 7-on-7. They're not going to say an individual. They're going to say we did as a team. So that's been our biggest thing, is just focus on the we before me mentality. Before every stretch, before everything we do, it's a together type of thing. And they make sure that they know that. To my right, T.Y., he's been somebody that I got a chance to watch since middle school. He tried out for me for basketball. I told him, hey man, football your sport. So it's kind of funny how it's full circle now, and he's one of my leaders. Smurf, I got a chance to watch him again since his 8th grade year, just coming up. There's nobody on that team that works harder than Smurf. I don't care what it is. You 6 inches in the weight room, on the field, you name it. Nobody works harder than Smurf. I challenge him in everything that he possibly can do, and Smurf, he'll literally go out there and die for this team, man. So super excited for him. Smurf is one of 2 seniors, so we're super young. But he's the guy that everybody goes to. everybody comes to Smurf and say, hey, how can I do this? What can I do? He got on a couple of middle school kids the other day, just the mindset. Hey, we don't do that no more. It's a brand new North. The mindset's different. We got Coventry week 1, and we plan on coming home victorious. One thing Coach has told me, before he stepped away from us was, Paul, do whatever you can for these kids. And he was huge to my development. That was the first person that gave me my opportunity to coach football. So being able to step in and fill in and hold it down for him this year the right way, I got his back. I know he impacted some of you guys as well, but I got Coach has his back. It's gonna be a whole nother North, and that's a guarantee to everybody in this room. Like everybody that said, weeks 1 through 5, we support him. We support him. When it comes time, I'm telling y'all now, this is a brand new North.
Thank you, Coach Powell. And I know Coach Haz is looking down, very proud of you and the Vikings right now. Thank you. Lastly, we'll hear from another first-year coach, Coach DeRio at Ellet. He comes to us in APS from a variety of programs and experience as a football coach, including successful programs most recently at Stowe, right, Coach? I've also spent some time in Barberton. He's been a part of programs that have won a lot of football games, and we welcome you to Ellet. So, Coach DeRio, your turn.
First off, I'd like to thank Coach Linger and Coach Vass for obviously giving me the opportunity to be here. Just like everybody else has been talking about, I mean, from the moment I've gotten this position, and everybody's been extremely welcoming. It's a little different atmosphere than how other leagues might be set up, and it took me a little bit to kind of learn how that goes, and I think every coach, head coach, at all the programs at Akron Public Schools and in the City Series have been extremely helpful to me. Everybody's been welcoming. I think even early on, Coach Hayes, I had to call him for some questions, and there was no questions asked, and the help was there. Everybody's been just very welcoming along the way, and I'm excited for the Akron City Series against the world kind of mentality. I really appreciate that and look forward to building on that. Just like Coach Powell, like being a first-year guy, got to kind of work our way in. I don't have the knowledge that a lot of you guys have yet, and I'm excited to learn from you guys. Like Coach Vass said, came from being under Coach Potter and Gatto and Nelson and all these guys, and they've made me the coach I am today. I look the same way to the coaches who have been in this league for a while. I'm going to learn from you guys, and I'm excited for that relationship to be built. So I appreciate everybody. With that, the guys behind me, I've got 2 seniors, Jake Flossie and Isaiah Brown. From the minute I got this job, as you're hiring a staff and as you're putting things together, the weight room, whatever it is, you really lean on a core of players to follow through and do what you're asking. These 2 guys are guys from the get-go that have done everything I've asked. They don't miss days. They don't act out. They follow everything we preach and that we want at Ellet football. I'm lucky to come into a program where we have a really good core, especially a really good core of seniors. And I think one of the things that speaks the most to these 2 is, a couple days ago, we, I talked to the whole group. There was about 8 to 9 guys I talked to. I said, I would be extremely happy to bring any 2 of you of this group. You're all very deserving. Let's make this decision as a team. It's, Ellet, we say all the time, like, it's us. We are Ellet, you're not representing me or the school. Like, you guys are Ellet football. You guys make this choice. And that group picked these 2 guys to come represent them. So I think that speaks more highly of anything I can say about them, is that their teammates want them here to represent the Ellet Orangemen. Jake's going to give us a great year as our starting quarterback, and probably, we're hoping a lot of connections to Isaiah throughout the year at receiver. So we're excited about it. I'm extremely thankful to have this role and be with all you guys. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Well, thanks, everyone. That concludes our program. A few final words from me. First of all, again, welcome Dr. Robinson to the Akron Public Schools. We're excited for you And we look forward to making you proud this fall on the football field and in other areas of athletics and APS. Thanks again for Pat Shipe, for Christina, for Michael Ann, for your hospitality. We deeply appreciate it. If I may wax philosophical for just a minute, I was thinking when some of you were talking about, and someone mentioned injuries, I think maybe one of the coaches was talking about injuries happen, that's an example of something that might happen to you this year. We hope it doesn't, but if it does, remember you control how you respond to that. One of the great things this game teaches you is what you control and what you don't control. Many times injuries are out of your control, unfortunately. It happens as part of the game. But how are you going to respond to that? Follow your trainer's advice, like book the guys, listen to Shelly, right? Do your rehab. It may seem like drudgery, but it's going to get you back sooner. Support your teammates if you happen to miss playing time because of an injury, and that kind of thing. Control your attitude. But I remember Coach Jim Dennison at the University of Akron, when I went to a clinic there, a coaching clinic, he preached about positive mental attitude through things you can't control, like injuries, and trying to make the best of it. And it's a great life lesson. These days you hear about E plus R equals O, and it's the same philosophy, right? You have an event that happens, plus the response is how you respond to it. That's going to get you your outcome. You want your outcome to be positive, so you control that response. So whatever event might happen, it might be an injury you can't control, but you can control how you respond to it. So it's a great lesson this game teaches us. And I think about that every day of my life, in my job, in my other adult responsibilities. Something might happen that I don't like. I can control how I react to it, what I do about it, and try to be positive and make the best of it. So we wish you guys all the success this year. Please stay injury-free. That would be awesome. So Indian Valley, right, week 1, go get them. Coach, Youngstown Cheney. Coach East leading us off, as he said, August 17th is a Thursday. Will be the host team at Ellett. So get to 1-0 there, East. I know North, you go to Coventry, right? Week 1, good luck. Firestone, Cuyahoga Falls. I'm trying to do this without looking. I know Buchtel's going down to Hoover in Stark County, so that's a heck of an opener. I know you guys will represent us well down there in Federal League country. And we got the Golden Rams going to Springfield August 18th, correct? Friday night. Hopefully no lightning. You can finish it in one day, unlike a couple years ago. I think you had to go back, but you got to win. But we wish everyone best of luck all season long. Be 1-0 week 1 and keep going from there. Anything else for the good of the order?
Don't forget to hit the books.
Yes.
As a teacher, I have to say.
Do you have summer reading for school? Do you have to do summer reading required? I'll do reading anyway, but when school starts, hit those books. Thank you, Ms. Shipe, for reminding us of that. Because, without those grades, without academics, obviously you wouldn't be eligible to play, but life beyond high school would be much more challenging as well. So thank you for that reminder. Anything else? Media members, are we good? Would you like the coaches to hang out a little bit to talk to them? Okay, coaches, please. Yeah, please do that, coaches. If you have a few minutes to spare, Nate and Michael would like a word with you. But thanks everyone for being here. We appreciate it. All right, go APS. Let's have a great season.